Hi, I'm Rose with the NCB, and I'm here about to go to an event with young people who are going to Parliament to get their voices heard so that the next government can do more for young people in our country.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a delight to be here today, surrounded by so many passionate children and young people. We need government to listen, and we need whoever forms the next Parliament to be listening to.
Whenever we are able to bring the children's sector together to speak with one voice like we are today, we can see the possibility for a better future.
What impact do you think today's event has had?
It's been really impactful to see all of these organisations coming together to talk about young people and, most importantly, to listen directly to young people.
I think it has encouraged people from more povertised areas to speak about the bigger problems in the world.
Being literally in the room when it happens, of people from all stretches of the world, all kinds of life, it was surreal to be in there and have that feeling knowing that I'm also part of it.
It's a great privilege to be here as an advisory board and along with the government to hopefully help create more of these opportunities for young people to get involved.
Young people's voices, the voices of people in this room, are an echo of the future.
Young people bring fresh new ideas, innovation, solutions, creative approaches to address societal challenges.
I have spoken and held many meetings for young people in this room. I don't think I've ever seen it this crowded, and it really is so fantastic to see so many of you here. We set up 12 years ago the Youth Select Committee in Parliament. I was the first witness in front of it. I've been in front of a lot of select committees as ministers. None was more frightening than in front of the Youth Select Committee because they've done their research properly and they ask some really penetrating, relevant questions. We need more of that.
Why is it so valuable to hear from so many different voices?
People are affected in so many different ways, given their social background, their race, their ethnicity, and to gain a wider perspective and an angle of each of these opinions is really important in ensuring that everyone's needs and issues are catered for and also heard.
I think sometimes it takes moments like that when you actually hear it firsthand for you to appreciate that these things kind of go on.
Hearing from so many different young people, we see how the same issues affect so many people in different ways. We can't just focus on one symptom or one result. We need to focus on all of them because they're all as important as each other.
The problems outlined today, when fixed or taken further, will really improve schools and support for young children.
The Green Party represents maybe a different way of doing politics in transferring some of the power that's traditionally held by politicians through the grassroots and really trying to embolden, empower and listen to those who are within communities, and that obviously includes young people.
It's not just about listening to young people, it's about creating real platforms of power where young people can make decisions. Because so often there is an inequality of access to opportunity, to information and to power based on how old you are.
And what do you think this new government should do with this new mandate?
I think that the main thing has to be around accessibility towards politics for young people.
I think they should encourage people from all backgrounds to come forward about any concerns they have, whether it be about education or social care.
I'd like to talk about the inequalities in the healthcare system in diagnosing disabilities and special educational needs.
I'm asking the next government to create platforms for active youth engagement in Parliament.
As a mum, I'm not here just talking about myself, I'm talking about my son's future as well.
We must recognise that the well-being of newborn parents directly impacts the well-being of their children.
When I was in care, one of my biggest anxieties was my placements breaking down and having to move.
What the government can do to help is try and find the best match as possible when it comes to finding families for a young person in care.
I would really like the government to look at giving more responsibility and power to local authorities.
I think that the incoming government needs to focus a lot more on the volunteering sector and on the charities that help youth voice.
Personally, I think that they should be focusing on the way that they support bereaved children in schools.
I just think that every child should grow up in a happy and safe environment.
Young people are so passionate because
what is happening to you is always so immediate, and your world is much smaller sometimes. And so I think it's really amazing to see lots of young people coming forward and talking about how they want the world to look.
Ultimately, it's the people who are in charge, who are in government, who can put the investment in to make sure that we are implementing the things in the McAllister Review and beyond. And so we need you to help us create a movement to make sure that there is pressure on the current government and whoever's in charge after the next election. I said on that day that Ed Davey had said he'd be delighted to participate in a leaders' debate with children and young people about children's issues, and I'd love to see Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak make the same commitment, because that would be a brilliant debate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So today's event was a massive success. All the young people got to speak about their truth and their own experiences passionately in front of people who have power and influence to create change.
As you can see, we have actually tried to cram quite a lot in this morning, and we've had calls for young people to be at the top table. We've had calls for a leaders' debate on children, children's version of manifestos. We've heard that children may not have a vote, but they must have a voice.
These conversations have been happening for many, many years and decades, in fact, but that feeling there which we had from babies to older people, and I feel like change is hopefully on its way.
Young people are ready to be heard. Is the government ready to hear us?